Okay, next we're moving to Lucia Blanco, nature documentary. Now, I have to tell you something interesting about Lucia's work, okay? It's not this traditional kind of, again, why I love it is because it's different, okay? And when I was watching this work, I reminded myself, like when I was, teenager, I liked nothing more. I had a neighbor who was subscribed to National Geographic magazine. And because it was hard to get the National Geographic, it wasn't sold everywhere. You had to go to special, bookshops to buy it. It was imported, and stuff. It was really hard. But he had a subscription. He had every single National Geographic magazine and shelves full of it. And I loved nothing more than to knock on his door and go there. And he was like a teacher, a professor. So he encouraged me to, read the magazines. And I would sit in his living room and I would pull one, National Geo magazine after another. And those images, probably that's when I've fallen in love with beautiful images. I think it was the National Geographic photography. Oh my God, back in the day, where they used, Kodak Portras, when they shot on film, right? When the things were just looking unbelievable. And when I looked at this, it really brought that memory back to me. It really brought that memory back to me. So what Lucia does, she does a look, she develops a look for documentaries. This is a natural history documentary. I personally also spent time working them. I did the Blue Planet and Earth Flight. I did some really big documentaries for the BBC in my professional career. And I loved working on them. And I remember when we switched from documentaries that were shot on some sort of mini DVs to documentaries shot on RED. And we started grading them for look, not just to rescue the image, when we started really building it. And that's when it really documentary started. One documentary I even had to master for IMAX screen, which was crazy, because, so what this to me is how documentary should really look like. That kind of aesthetic of National Geographic magazine on a motion picture screen, right? It's just, really what I'm after. Look at it. It's called, this is like a postcard. It's a concept grade. I don't think it was a real job, but these concepts are just unbelievable. Summer. Look at these beaches. Look how she cleaned this, the ocean, the separation. And there's this just right amount of contrast. I don't know what it is, this kind of combination between depth of shadow and a level of saturation. That saturation is kind of, dense. Oh my God, look at this, summer. Wow, spring. Oh, wow. You really have to breathe for the moment when you look at it. Gorgeous, the dynamic range between this highlight and this shadow here is unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Look at this, guys. And goes. And then, wow. Then autumn, right? Look what she does. Look how she calms the light. She puts cloudy kind of light sources now, right? So everything's a little softer. Look at it. Look there. Oh my God, this is just unbelievable how she lifts the color contrast of this. And I don't know, this is to me you see why why I told you, why my memory took me to the National Geo days. Beautiful, the winter. Beautiful. And then, look at she brought the color of the ocean. Ocean is not just kind of, this kind of, in winter, how ocean becomes just this kind of black mass. No, she brought some kind of deep green into it. Unbelievable. And then, look at the kind of how she brought the sky back in again. Honestly, every frame is a postcard. Every frame is a screensaver. We don't do postcards anymore. Sorry, we do screensavers. Lucia, it's piece of art. And I love it. Your website says I'm a luciablanco.art, and you're definitely an artist. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. What an eye you have. You know, I really, really love it. Guys, I believe that she deserves for all the points from you, for being it. And I know, like, unbelievable. I really, really love it. And interesting, documentary, but documentaries like these, we want more of those.